All right, y'all have been asking, and once again, I aim to please, so we're going to talk about Nina Dobrev and Ian Somerhalder's relationship today. Starting out with birth charts, Nina is a Capricorn Sun, an Aquarius Moon, an Aquarius Mercury, a Sagittarius Venus, and an Aries Mars. And Ian is a Sagittarius Sun, an Aries Moon, an Aquarius Rising, a Sagittarius Mercury, a Scorpio Venus, and a Sag Mars. So our story begins in 2008 when The Vampire Diaries begins filming and Nina and Ian meet for the first time. At the time, Nina was 19 years old and Ian was 29 turning 30. And this is where I'm already a little bit uncomfortable with the relationship. So they actually cast Nina first as Elena, and then they had her run lines with a ton of different actors that they had as potentials for Stefan and Damon. I'm getting them confused with their real names. Anyways, none of those actors worked at first, so eventually they found Ian Somerhalder and Paul Wesley, and of course we know there was chemistry. So May 21st of 2009, the CW has a party in New York, and they're both there, of course. This is really the first picture that we ever see of them together because The Vampire Diaries had not even premiered yet, but nothing was going on at that time that we know of. And then September 10th of 2009, The Vampire Diaries premieres. It consumed the nation. It really did. I feel that way. I didn't even watch all of it, but I feel that way strongly. October 17th of 2009, they were at the Spike TV Scream Awards together, and they do look pretty close. A little bit closer than the rest of the cast looked, in my opinion. But they could just be friends. We don't know yet. In December of 2009, Ian had a birthday party. It was just a low-key little thing, very few pictures, and Nina was, in fact, there. This is like a candid from it, and the app cropped it, but this is Nina right here. You can definitely tell that it's her in the picture. And January 16th of 2010, Nina has her 21st birthday party, and Ian is also there. But again, could just be co-workers. Now, February of 2010, The Vampire Diaries goes on tour, and there was a lot of reports online that they seemed a lot closer than the rest of the cast, and that they were also kind of touchy with each other. Yes, again, we could just be reaching, but we're reaching, okay? We're in that territory right now. And allegedly, February of 2010 was actually when they started dating. According to Claire Holt, who played Rebecca on The Vampire Diaries, she said that they were super professional and it never got weird, which I can totally believe just because I feel like they are so casual and normal together that we barely found out as a public. So doesn't surprise me at all that they would be keeping it very low-key on set. Next, we're in March of 2010 at this point. This specific magazine cover ingrained in my mind. This one. It was just a key part of my growing up, personally. I wish that I had kept all of my 17 magazines. I don't know why I ever threw them away. Truly, I don't. Anyways, as you can see, Nina was on the cover, and in her interview, she talked about dating co-stars. She said, "I think it could definitely get sticky if you dated your co-star. To be completely honest, dating an actor is very complicated. There's a lot of vanity involved, and they're in their head, and they're kind of crazy, and you're always surrounded by beautiful people. I would prefer not to date an actor." And I appreciate her honesty on that because I feel like most actors talk like celebrities are just average Joes. They just happen to be famous. But first of all, there's definitely certain personality types that thrive in the entertainment industry over others. And second of all, even if you start out really shy and humble, being in the entertainment industry around beautiful people all the time, like she said, around fans, people fawning over you and being concerned for your image is going to make you a little bit more concerned about your image and probably a little bit more confident too, or possibly more insecure. Can kind of sway either way. But I feel like that's not a judgment. That's just reality. If you're in the entertainment industry, you are going to care more about your image than the average person. And in April of 2010, reports start coming out that they may be together. These were really just rumors. Again, we didn't know that they were together yet. We had pretty much zero to go off of. It could have just been publicity because they were in a show together, you know? It's easy to chalk it up to any of those things at this point, but we had our little monocles out. We were the monocle emojis at this point. And then May 27th of 2010, we see them at a Lakers game together. And I mean, do you need more confirmation than that? I rest my case. I feel like going to a basketball game together is kind of the equivalent of soft launching the relationship for celebrities. And then right after that, in the first days of June, we see them in London with the rest of the Vampire Diaries cast, but clearly there is a separation here. They look very cozy together. This man is on his own. On June 5th, they were at the Monte Carlo Television Festival in Monaco, and they were there together. He had his arm around her. See the hand placement on this picture. That doesn't really mean anything. But afterwards, sources were saying they were dating and that they were clearly together at the after party and during this event. August 8th of 2010 is the Teen Choice Award. And side note, why is Paul always looking away from the camera? Literally in all of the pictures, I swear, he's looking away. Anyways, Vampire Diaries won Choice TV Show for Fantasy and Sci-Fi and Choice TV for Breakout Shows. And Nina won Choice TV Actress for Fantasy and Sci-Fi and Choice TV Female Breakout Star. And Ian won Choice TV Villain because we all love a hot villain. Paul won all the counterparts to Nina's awards, probably because he was the good guy at this point. But what was more important than the Teen Choice Awards is what happened directly after it. They go to the airport to go back to Georgia where they're filming Vampire Diaries. And that is where we get this video.
Somerhalder leans over to give Nina Dobrev a quick kiss while checking.
So as you can see, there was a kiss on the cheek that we all collectively then zeroed in on. And it meant something in our eyes. But really, he also kissed the other girl who was at the airport with them on the cheek. So I think it was just a greeting. It's just a little bit more European than we would expect. But it still meant something to us. And as we know, they were dating. So we got him. So still not a lot to go off of. We're in 2011 now. March 7th of 2011, Nina does an interview with Teen Vogue and they ask her about Ian. And she said, "We expected the rumors. Like, if I wasn't dating Ian, I'd be dating Paul. A lot of people who work together end up dating, so it wouldn't be unusual, but I've never dated anyone I've worked with." And that quote got taken out of context so many times in my research. People really thought that she was trying to say that she would have dated Paul if she hadn't been dating Ian. I don't think that that's what she was trying to say at all. I think what she meant is that there wasn't necessarily anything special about her and Ian. It was just that people wanted to make rumors about her dating a co-star like they do with any TV show or movie. That rumors that you're dating a co-star are popular and usually done by publicity teams. But that's another story. But there was, in fact, something special between her and Ian, so. And we get a little sneak peek of that when they go to Coachella together on April 16th. They definitely look like a couple to me. Maybe not, could just be friends, but everyone else thought they looked like a couple too. In May, they go on a trip to Paris with their moms, the city of love, and also moms. But still, very cute, but you're claiming that you're not dating? May I ask why? Because I certainly don't buy it at this point. They're even holding hands, like, you just can't hide it anymore. It's there. It's right in front of our faces. But it took them until September of 2011 to reveal to the public that they were, in fact, dating. So, all of our sleuthing was not for nothing. By the way, this picture is from a flag football event that they did while they were dating. It's just really cute. I thought I'd include it. Whatever. Anyways, September 12th of 2011, the CW has a premiere party, and they're both there in attendance. And they were both interviewed and said some really sweet things about each other. Ian said, "Her desire to experience and appreciate everything around her and chuckle and enjoy it is great, and that there are a million reasons why he loves her," which is super cute. And Nina said, "He always has a positive outlook and positive energy, and he's always happy. He's a glass half full kind of guy, not half empty." In September of 2011, when they finally announced that they were dating, already engagement rumors are beginning, which supposedly they had been dating for about a year before they even announced it, so I guess not completely out of left field, but come on, they literally just announced it. What are the odds that they're now about to announce an engagement? Anyways, at this point, she's 22 and he's 32. And September 18th of 2011 was the Emmys, and they did show up separately. And now you might think that this is a bad sign, but Nina addressed it in an interview and she said, "If I was standing next to him, I'd be his arm candy. I get a little bit nervous. He makes me giddy." But supposedly they were together all night and definitely looking coupley. And I did notice that throughout their relationship, they pretty much did attend all of their events separately, even though they were still dating and like they would be clearly together during the event, but they showed up separately, which honestly, I respect it, because if you want to be a star for who you are and not who you're dating, that's a pretty good move. Also makes me pretty certain that they're not a PR couple. In January of 2012, even more engagement rumors are going around, this time that Nina said no to him. Nina denied those completely though, and she said that marriage was not even on the cards right now. She said, "I'm young, I'm really young. It's not like back in the day where you have to get married and have your children by 18. I'm a career woman and a young, very driven woman, and I've got a lot I have to accomplish before I settle down and have kids and do any of that." But they still seem to be very happy together. In April of 2012, they went to Coachella again, and there was lots of PDA, very cute. And in May, they were also back in Paris with their Vampire Diaries crew. September 4th of 2012, Nina is on 17 magazine again. Another cover I recognize, not to brag. Anyways, they asked her about Ian in her interview, and she said, "I didn't want to be dating one of my co-stars. My goal on the show was to be professional, but sometimes you can't help who you have a connection with, and you can only fight it for so long," which I did for a really, really long time. Forbidden love. And then in December, we see them going Christmas tree shopping together, which I feel like is kind of like a serious move, and also adorable. But it's all snatched away from us. May 9th, 2013, they announced that they have broken up. They had been dating about 2 years at this point. That's according to my timeline. We don't really know exactly when they started dating. We only know when they made it official publicly. But according to my timeline and the rumors that they were dating in February of 2010, it would be about 2 years. So, May 9th of 2013, fateful day. They're broken up. Sources said that there was no mean-spiritedness behind either of their motives, there was no other person involved or any big fight, and that they were still friends, of course. They kind of have to say that, don't they? And the people talking to the tabloids, whether a friend or publicist or who knows, also said that the relationship kind of brewed out of a friendship and the fact that they had to get into a romance for the show, and that the breakup was inevitable. Other reports were saying that Nina wanted to experience other things, which, I mean, she's only 24. She really just started her career. Vampire Diaries was her big break. And I know that some of y'all are going to say, oh, she was on Degrassi before that. I know she was, but Vampire Diaries was her big break. I mean, come on. And later on, like way after they'd broken up, another source talked to the tabloids and said that Ian was starting to talk about marriage and Nina was not ready to make the huge commitment yet. And according to that source, the timeline that Nina was on was like marriage in 10 years or so, which she would be 34, makes sense, but with a 10-year age gap, that doesn't work as well. And that same day that their breakup is announced, May 9th, 2013, Ian posts on Twitter. And the tweet no longer exists, but multiple news outlets did cover it. It definitely existed. It was just an interesting tweet for the day that your breakup is announced. He said, "A thought for today. People change and forget to tell each other." And people assumed that this was about him and Nina, which I think is a pretty fair assumption. I think a lot of the times in the entertainment industry, news of breakups leaking or anything like that is usually leaked by their publicist. And so usually they're aware of it. But even if he wasn't, his publicist would be calling him at like 7 a.m. to tell him, hey, everybody knows that you broke up now. So I think it's safe to assume that he was aware and that he was aware of the timing and being intentional. But as far as Vampire Diaries, we had nothing to worry about. They continued on. They were very professional. Gotta love them for that. July 22nd of 2013, they were both at Comic-Con with the Vampire Diaries crew, and supposedly they were avoiding each other and trying not to be too near each other during interviews. And we get relatively little news about them since they're broken up for most of 2013. But in September, on September 9th of 2013, Ian tweets, "In a store this morning, who do I see? The one and only @Nina Dobrev. These things are almost gone, so if you haven't gotten this magazine off of a shelf, get one. One word, stunning. Congrats, Nina, XO." And it was Nina's Cosmo cover. This is one of her pictures from her Cosmo shoot. Obviously, stunning is a great word to describe it. But this showed up on Instagram and Twitter. And Nina replied and said, "Thank you, Smoldy," with a triple smiley face. And of course, people felt that this was a little bit flirty for exes to dedicate a whole Instagram post to the Cosmo cover. Now, in November of 2013, there was some rumors that they were going to get back together, but no evidence really surfaced, so wishful thinking, I think. And then, January 8th of 2014, the People's Choice Awards. Nina and Ian won the Best Chemistry Award. I am not joking, that is what they won. At least we know they're good actors. Or, I think what a lot of people are thinking, maybe there's still something going on. They did make light of it in their speech, though, and I am going to show you that now.
Wow, this is crazy. Can you believe this is almost 5 years in the making?
Right, yeah. But you know, I think what's crazier though, Ian, is that at the beginning of the show, Elena actually hated Damon.
You were hooking up with my brother.
Well, you killed my brother.
Then eventually she fell in love with me.
And then we started dating on the show.
We started dating in real life.
And then we broke up in real life.
And yet our characters are still dating on the show.
It's a good thing it's not awkward. Well, it's a good thing we have chemistry.
So that was clearly scripted, which I get it, but also I feel like it makes it seem like you actually are feeling awkward about it if you had to script a response ahead of time. You know what I'm saying? And in May of 2014, there were once again rumors circulating that they might be getting back together, more in a trying things out, more private way kind of deal. Not necessarily 100% together, but we had hope. Until July 20th of 2014, when Ian is seen at a farmer's market with Nikki Reed. You may know her from Twilight. She played Rosalie, and she was married to Paul McDonald, who was on American Idol. And apparently while she was married to him, they did go on multiple double dates with Ian and Nina. I didn't see any direct evidence of that, but that's what everybody was saying, was that they went on double dates and they were all four friends. And she had just filed for divorce in March from Paul McDonald, and supposedly he was very upset about it still at the time. Well, they're at this farmer's market together, and people guessed that they're now dating. And the tabloids claimed that they were trying to keep it as private as possible so as not to upset Nina and Paul, and maybe that they didn't want them to know yet. So to me, this seems like it's like them testing out the waters for publicity to see what is going to happen in the news if they show their faces together. I don't think that this is their first outing together, though. I think that we would be naive to think that. I think that that's rarely the case. And suddenly, August 15th of 2014, rumors start going around that Nina is not going to keep going with the Vampire Diaries. Now, I did not watch all of Vampire Diaries, but I cannot imagine it without her at all. And of course, everybody speculated and pretty much believed that her leaving had to do with Ian's new relationship with Nikki Reed and the betrayal. August 24th of 2014, we figure out that Ian and Nikki Reed have supposedly moved in together, and they also bought a horse, just casually. So that doesn't really feel like just started dating to me. And there were also rumors at that time that Ian was bringing Nikki to set with him, which was making Nina uncomfortable. I don't know. They were just rumors, nothing confirmed or reliable. And then January 15th of 2015, we find out that Ian and Nikki are engaged. And look at that boulder. It had been about 6 months since we had found out that they were dating, and I think at this point people were low-key wondering how long they had actually been dating before this. And I say this, yes, in part because 6 months is not a long time to be dating before you get engaged, but also because mostly with celebrities, they have been dating for a little bit before you ever see them in public together. But again, she had filed for divorce 4 months before we first saw them together, so a very swift transition, even if they're on the exact timeline that we found out on. Anyways, the tabloids had sources saying that Ian had been in love with Nikki for years and that they had always been attracted to each other, but always in another relationship, which, if you're Nina, that doesn't sound great, or if you're Paul McDonald. As for Nina's reaction, at least in public, it seemed like she either hadn't read it or did not care at all about it, so she seemed to be fine. Now, just a couple weeks later, at the very end of January, reports start coming out to the tabloids that Nina and Ian were very close on set. And the story this source gave was that she sat next to him and immediately leaned her head on his shoulder and just sat there for a few minutes until it was time to roll, and that they had been touchy in between takes on set in general. And considering he had just gotten engaged, this was a pretty confusing time for the fans. Also probably pretty confusing for Nikki Reed, I'm guessing, if she saw that online. But we don't know. We don't know. And then April 6th of 2015, Nina announces that she's leaving the Vampire Diaries. And there were definitely rumors that this was because she didn't want to work with Ian anymore, but like, those don't really make sense because she'd already been working with him for 2 years while broken up before that. And then April 27th of 2015, Ian gets married to Nikki Reed. Yes, that was a very short engagement. Their total time together at this point is 9 months. And again, we did know that they knew each other and were friends before they started dating. And we also don't know how long they were dating. So I will say, though, that these wedding pictures are really cute. So May 12th of 2015, Nina does an interview with E, and she talks about Ian. She said, as for the breakup, we didn't break up because anything bad happened or because there wasn't love or friendship. I love him and the friendship is still strong, and I think he's great and I care about him. And that didn't change. Yes, you're professional and that's fine. We were friends long before we dated and we still are now. They also asked her about the wedding and if she had any feelings about it. And she said, when I heard about the wedding, I thought it was beautiful. They look happy and I am happy. And so I don't see why there should be a problem with that. And basically her entire message was that she had no negative feelings towards them or about the situation at all. And really it was just the media trying to paint a story of heartbreak and of betrayal and all of that. So we don't hear anything about them in the news for a couple years. I mean, mostly because there wasn't really anything to report. Nikki and Ian were married. Nina was dating other people. She had said that she was fine with everything, but people still continued to believe that Nikki and Ian had betrayed Nina. But then, February 7th of 2017, Nikki posted a picture on Instagram of the three of them. And there was a huge caption. I'm just going to read a part of it. It was, "For the last few years, we thought addressing any baseless rumors with silence was the best way. Besides, who wants to respond to made-up stories about friends backstabbing friends, cheating exes, or cast members exiting shows on lowbrow websites like Hollywood Life that are just perpetuating trends that preceded us? Yuck. I now see that silence was taken as an opportunity to fill in the blanks with even more falsities and juicier stories, and we, yes, we, believe we have a moral responsibility to young girls to end that narrative, because at the end of all this, those young girls are the ones who lose." And the rest of it was about women hating women and how that's what the media wants us to do and we shouldn't feed into that. At the end of the day, do I think she did the right thing by posting? Yes, absolutely, because I think it definitely helps to quell speculation if you have an official statement out there. But do I agree with everything she said? No, because I don't agree with shaming people for gossiping or for curiosity in general. Nina also posted a photo, and she said, "Can't believe how time flies. Farewell dinner with Team Summer Reed. So good catching up with these goofballs. All love." And Nina's comment section, as you can probably imagine, was all, "We want you back with Ian. Can you imagine how awkward this is? They probably forced her to do this because they were getting so much hate." More of the same. But I will say, as much as I agree with not pitting women against each other, I don't really think that that's what was going on here. I think people were more noticing a potential timeline issue, a potential moral issue on both Nikki and Ian's parts, and were kind of just pointing it out. And also, supporting women doesn't mean you have to stand by or like all women's actions or all women's choices all the time. That's not what it is. It's not realistic. And also, let's be clear, if anything unsavory did happen, it's definitely just as much Ian's fault as it is Nikki's. But we don't know that anything happened, so I'll just say that. So in 2019, Nina was on Watch What Happens Live with Andy Cohen, and a fan asked her a question about Ian. They asked, "Do you see Ian, and now that he's married, is it weird that you're friends with both him and his wife?" And she said, "I don't think that's weird at all. I think that's great." And basically that they're all happy with their lives and they're all happy with each other and have no issues. And the last time Ian spoke about it was at the Vampire Diaries convention, also in 2019 in September. He was asked about whether he shipped Damon and Elena or Stefan and Elena, and he said he ships Stefan and Elena because the ones who shipped him with Elena were really mean to me and my wife and my family. Basically, the fans made him really uncomfortable with the way that they brought the show into his personal life, which is super unfortunate. But ultimately, I do think that they're all okay now. Even if something did happen in the past, it seems like they all are fine with each other and there's no hard feelings anymore. But it's also possible that, like Nina said, she has never had any issue with it, which that at least seems to be where she's at now. And either way, I wish them all the best. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, comment any additions you might have or any thoughts or opinions. I'd love to hear them, as well as any series suggestions or new video suggestions in general. And if you want to see more of me and more of my series, please consider subscribing, and I'll see you next week with another one.